We're all having a good time, right?
Sure we are.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
So shut up!
Here we are at the San Francisco International Film Festival outside the Sundance Kabuki Theater with the Miller brothers, the one and only Mr. Ed Harris. And Ed, what's going on here today?
Our movie Touching Home is making its world premiere.
Celebrating the premiere of the Miller brothers film, Touching Home.
Tell us, how did this movie come about?
In January of 2006, our father passed away in Marin County Jail, and he'd been homeless for the last 15 years of his life. And we had written a script about us and our father. There was a lot of sort of pain and frustration and guilt that we had about our father and how he passed away. And we had written the script about how we were down in Arizona playing baseball, and baseball didn't work out. And so he was playing in the minor leagues, I was playing in college, and we went back home and worked with our father and tried to save up money to get back down to Arizona.
Tell everyone the miracle. Tell everyone what happened to kind of fuel this movie.
In March of 2006, we received the Panavision New Filmmaker Grant. So we went down to Arizona with 17 credit cards and shot for 3 days with the Colorado Rockies and put together a little 2-minute trailer to demonstrate that we had a vision for the movie.
What's the really big thing that happened? What's the huge?
really big.
What's the reason we're all here
The
today?
reason we're all here is because of a man named Ed Harris.
A couple years ago, I was here. I was being honored by the film festival, you know.
So Ed Harris was the #1 guy. We wanted to play the role of our father, and we read in the Chronicle that he was going to be honored at the Castro Theatre.
They had a screening, I think, of a picture called A Flash of Green that I made in '83. I believe it was after the screening. I had a Q&A.
So we were sitting in the audience. They did a formal interview on stage, and then they passed around the mic for a Q&A. We said, okay, we're gonna put him on the spot in front of 1,600 people and tell him about ask our movie. him if he'll talk to us for 2 minutes after. But of course, we couldn't get the microphone during the Q&A because we looked too desperate, and we were, you know, and there was a lot of people. There was a lot of people that wanted to ask questions. So they ended up giving Ed a stand ovation, and Bro stood up. I stood up, and my brother said, "Where are you going?" And I said, "We're going backstage to talk to Mr. Harris." Walked up the steps, pushed through the curtain. Yeah, and I bumped into this woman. She said, "What are you guys doing here?" And I said, "We're the independent filmmakers. We're here to talk to Mr. Harris." And then she didn't buy that, so she pushed us back on stage. We became desperate, and we said, "Look, just see if Ed will give us 2 minutes of his time." She looked at us suspiciously, disappeared through the curtain.
And then I was on the stage trying to get out of there, and a young lady came up and said that there was these 2 guys who wanted to talk to me.
Came back out with Ed. He looked at me, looked at my brother, and the twin thing kind of, threw him, and he said, "Ed Harris, what do you boys got?" So we started pitching him on our movie. We had our laptop with that trailer on, and we were trying to show him, but the stage lights were flooding it out.
I said, "Look, I gotta have a cigarette. Let's go in the alley." So we went in the alley, and they had their computer, and they said, "Look, listen. I know we don't want to bother you, but we got this film, we got this script." And I said, "Okay, calm down a little bit," because they talked really quickly, and they said, "Well, look, we got a little video. You got a minute? Let me just show you this stuff. The stuff we shot down in Colorado Rocky training camp."
There was this greasy dumpster. We put the laptop on top of it, hit play, and Ed started watching. It was a little 2-minute trailer. He said, "Wow, it looks really beautiful. It looks like you guys know what you're doing."
And they told me this story about their father, who had just died in January. I believe this was March, maybe. I'm not sure when it was. This time of year, I guess.
He said, "So you want me to read for the role of your father?" We said, "Yes, sir." And he said, "You want me? Is your contact information in here?" We said, "Yes, sir."
And I said, "Look, guys, I'll read the script. I'll get back to you."
He said, "Good show, fellas." Shook our hand, and 9 days later he called us at our house. We went and we met and we had coffee, and he wanted to do the script, but he was booked.
So I met him for a cup of coffee at Starbucks in Santa Monica. They told me a little bit more about their dad and the relationship and what the movie, how they felt about the movie and all. And I kept saying, I can't do it. I don't have the time to do it. And I said, "When can you do it? When can you do it? If you can do it, just tell us when."
And he said, "Look," he said, "if you guys can push till December, I'll give you 2 weeks in December." And we said, "We'll do it."
"Look, I can give you 2 weeks in December." And they said, okay, good.
And then he asked us, he said, "So do we have a deal?" And we said, no, Ed, we're supposed to ask you if we have a deal."